Congratulations on the Sisters Grimm. You do play uh, Sabrina. Tell me a little bit about her and what fans can expect who are fans of the series.
Yeah, I am really excited for people to see the show. Sabrina is a really strong, amazing young woman who has really dealt with a lot. She is kind of put in a position where she has to be the parent and older sister of her younger sister Daphne. She is strong and strong-willed and smart. She doesn't trust a lot of people because unfortunately she's been kind of put in that situation. She's got this sarcastic sense of humor, which I really, really love. Um, and yeah, she struggles to show her vulnerability, which I think is something that a lot of people struggle with. And over the course of the series, I think that we see her open up, which I think is really beautiful. Um, but yeah, I mean, she's a really, really strong character that I really really appreciate and I've resonated with in a lot of ways. Because being the older sister, I'm not an older sister. My sister is the older sister, but she and I have traded off at points in our life where I feel like I have been the older sister to her and she's been the younger sister and vice versa. And I feel like Daphne and Sabrina in the show, that kind of happens with them as well, when times are tough. And so I think there's a lot of things with Sabrina and with her younger sister Daphne that fans can expect in the series that are just really great. I feel like the characters are so well written and we tried to do our best to do them justice. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like you really connected with Sabrina, which is what we want to hear from somebody who's playing a character like this. How did you approach the character? And I come to you with this question from talking with Michael and with Amy about how important getting Sabrina right was to them uh, into television. So what kind of conversations did you guys have early on to bring her to life?
We didn't really have a ton of conversations prior to recording day. I think they, which I really appreciate, trusted me to bring my version of Sabrina to the table, and then we could craft it when I brought it, and if they felt that something was missing or needed, and we really worked together on the day for that. But I think for me, what I really did when I was prepping for Sabrina was just kind of pulled from how the script made me feel, how what she was going through made me feel, if I could relate to any of the situations she was in. And obviously everything that she's going through, it's a fantasy world. So there are going to be things, of course, I'm not going to relate to, but the themes of the things that she's going through are things that I can relate to. And the situations that she's being put in and the dilemmas and all that. And kind of just putting myself in her shoes and seeing what comes up.
And
And that
speaking
seemed
of
to
that
making it work.
fantasy adventure, speaking of that fantasy and adventure world, I do want to know, what do you love about this genre? I know that it seems to have like really, really grown in popularity lately, whether it's, from the kids medium all the way to the adult book clubs that are turning these fantasy worlds into these adult adventures also. What do you find most thrilling about the genre of fantasy?
I mean, it's just so cool. Like, I mean, it takes you out of reality in a way that is so like magical. I mean, it's stuff that like we're not going to encounter in our day-to-day life. Which in a sense is like great because obviously I don't want to see a giant in my daily life, squashing my house. But there's still things that like we all love to imagine and daydream about, and it's like that childlike wonder that you have when you're younger of reading these stories and going like, oh my gosh, like what if I was in that, and that like you know you think about it's kind of like dreams. And I think that that's kind of maybe why people are so fascinated by fantasy, is it's taking us into a whole new world that we know we won't experience, but sometimes we love to escape from the current world we're in.
How do you feel the show takes some of the more kind of adult type themes that you don't necessarily always see in children's stories, but now here we're seeing them interwoven very, very well in this world of fantasy.
I mean, they've worked really hard to be able to do that in a way that works for a kid show. And I feel like they have exceeded their own expectations. I mean, they have done amazingly well with it. I think it helps some of them having their own kids to be able to kind of like figure that out. Um, but I also think that sometimes we underestimate what kids can handle. And like they're smarter than we think, they're tougher than we think, and like the world is not shielding. So why not be able to show them and you know bring them things and topics that are important and going to come to light anyway in a way that is well thought through and engaging, that they can maybe ingest better. So I mean, they've worked really hard on that, and I think they've done a great job. And I mean, it's not like these themes are they're not like crazy, they're not like controversial themes. They shouldn't be. So, it's not like anybody should have anything to say about it. They're things that people should appreciate their kids learning about and having empathy for and, understanding.
100%. Very well said. Ariel, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for the insight on Sabrina and on the Sisters Grimm. Hope everybody enjoys it when it comes out on October 3rd. It was nice to virtually meet you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yes, it was great to meet you too.